want to get it back. I set the intention that I'm going to really help people tonight. So we're going to see who pops in. We're going to just sit down with them and talk. I can't afford what I want. So I got these bikes I'm going to try to sell. I'm going to try to make the most of what I have. Let's actually put some effort into it. I couldn't just say it. I was making songs. This shit's really draining. When I heard all these people talking about coming up, you're more like 99% of the people that are in this industry are people that are like leeches that try to drain the life out of you. Most of your subscribers are people that want to see you fall and don't actually want to support. They're just waiting to see you fuck up. Like, I heard people talk about that, but I didn't believe it. But I see it now. That everyone's in it for themselves. And that you're supposed to make content for the needles in the haystack that come through. To see the masses as, like, losers. I don't care. So we're gonna see what happens. I guess the pedo. Of course, it's the first dude. What's happening? Let's see what. How you doing, guys? I'm here to help. If people have problems and shit going on in their life, I kind of set the intention for people to show up that need help in their lives. And I've been blessed to have a lot of knowledge and wisdom and all this stuff that I know. So I come on here to help people. I'll just answer questions until people start dropping stuff, talk about myself. It's just to see who pops in the chat. Usually when I set an intention before I go live, I get what I'm looking for. People join in. So right now we'll talk about black jobs. I'm just looking for people to talk about problems, man. If people have stuff going on in their life, I'm usually the person to go to. I'm not gassing myself up, but I have a lot of value to offer people, which is what I've been through and the people that I know and the things that I've experienced and the knowledge I have. Slavery created black jobs. Discuss. Okay, first off, slavery created black jobs. People are saying that the slave ships weren't real, and that England went everywhere. England didn't just go to Africa, but they hid the story from black people so that they wouldn't understand their culture, genetics. So there's no real black jobs because there's no real black people. Most of them are way more indigenous than they realize. And they just destroyed that culture because it was more connected to nature. So it's it's not an attack on black people. It's to keep black people from realizing that they're indigenous and that this is their land. Some shit was never good as he thought. Yeah, Eminem, if you think about Eminem as a TV show, Eminem was a good TV show back in the day. And when you go back and play his raps, they are really good. Like that Candace Owens verse, it's like you have to zoom in on the fine details of it and really get there to realize how good Eminem actually is. but he makes it in a way that's bad. Like people don't like listening to it. You have to really. That's what I say. My motto is that the best art is one you have to really care about to understand. You have the best artistry is something you have to dig deep to understand how it was made. So Eminem's really good when you really care about the art. If you don't care about the art, you're not going to feel him the same way. You're not going to like him the way that the people that call him the GOAT actually like him, because you have to go deep into it. You feel me? That's what. What's the next question? I'm doing all right. My life's pretty hard, um, but working towards my dreams helps me, and this is part of that. I'm trying to offer value before the world ends. Try to help other people have better lives, because my life is very difficult, and I can at least dream. This is the best thing I can do with my situation. Somebody was talking about their job. Hold up. It's like a mental problem, because I've been like that since I know. I can't last at work. I mean, I can only last like 3 months before I throw the towel. Yeah, jobs, it's not the job itself. It's the system in place of the employment system that was made by Freemasons. It's natural for you to feel like you're trapped in prison when you work at a job. It was designed that way. It's designed to make you feel lifeless and horrible, and to ruin your connection with nature, and to take away your unlimited potential when you submit yourself to be in this boxed position. That's not how things are working. That's not how societies function. Usually, like if everything was normal, everyone would wake up and solve problems and make life better for others. It's slavery. So you can't last a job because you don't want to be enslaved. You have to find work that isn't in that type of system. And there's so many, like that whole thing was fake. They print the money. Money isn't real. It's made up. It's all a ruse to keep you from living your fullest potential. And it's hard, but I'll tell you that like the universe provides. If you go back through my whole story on my channel, you can see how I slowly made progress and was given blessings from God. I literally just got the nicest bike I've ever seen, was just on the street next to me one day. And it was like a slow upgrade as I worked hard and learned and individualized, and I got better. And I didn't have to work a job for it. It came to me other ways. Like I was homeless for 6 months, fighting for my life in a hard environment. I started performing on stage, and then on the Lionsgate portal, 88, somebody showed up and gave me a car for free that I never met. And I was able to go finish my album and travel around door dashing and doing all this amazing stuff. There's no right way to live life. If that's not for you, either see it as a challenge, set a goal for yourself to do it, but for the most part, you got to take the reins. With 3 months of work, living in like a car or living in a nice tent off Temu, and then staying outside in the forest with like a wood stove and a dog, that's way better and probably way more freeing. Take chances and experience different things in your life. If you can't work a job, don't let that hinder you. Either see it as a challenge and then start to enjoy the challenge of how challenging that will be, and then stay focused and use it to find a way out to a better life. Take control of your own narrative and go change your life to what you want. Start working towards something instead of just trying to survive. Operate from your passions. I think that's somebody else said passion. And then as you do that consistently, you get more present to the moment and grateful for everything that happens. And then you're able to recognize more opportunities. You naturally shift to pronoia, where you just naturally think that the universe is working in your favor, and you start going out looking for fun things to happen in a world where everybody else is trapped in that job and they're conditioned like slaves to believe that that's the right way. So nobody's going to fuck with the way that you see things, because you're trying to grow out of that. You can't work a job because you're trying to reach out of that life that's not made for natural humans to work like that. Humans are supposed to wake up in the morning and then be with nature, with the birds singing, enjoying nature, going and getting food, hanging out with each other, and then do whatever you want, whether it's to build a house or make things better for your family, or it's to go adventure and do things. That's what we've been doing for thousands and thousands and thousands of years. It's only the past industrial revolution, the past 40 years, that has gotten so sick and fucked up. So it's not unnatural. You don't have mental illness because you don't want to be stuck and trapped in that world. You either have to just suck it up and power through into it and just like know that you're going through this for a specific purpose, and then the problems of that job no longer seem as hindersome because you know that everything that you're doing is going towards something and you're making consistent progress towards that thing. But even then, it's like it's almost better. Like I'm still getting opportunities, but I work really hard in this life, and I do things different. Like I think you can work for the universe, and the universe pays you for that. I really do. I think that I chose to work a different way, where I'm going into public and I'm finding people with problems, and I have to like go through these long sequences of people having to come to their karma and wake up to their bad habits and like realize that they're overreacting. Like I get tons of petty old people that overreact all the time. And then I have to go through this long change conversations that affect them and then watch them get humbled and shifted back into the more natural way. And then it's like I'll hit 250 subs and then I ride down the street and I find a $2,500 bike. I didn't have to work for that, but I had to work really hard at somewhere else. You feel me? So don't worry. Instead, take it as like a sign that you're not supposed to be in that place. Shift your creativity somewhere else and go down a different avenue for a couple months and see how you like that. And then I think naturally you'll start to get inspired that way. It's called a growth mindset, an abundance mindset, where there's so much out here that you're looking for, and that's why when you kind of coop yourself up in a box, you don't like it, because it's just not your place. It doesn't mean there's anything wrong with you, bro. And that's on God. Other ways to make money, clip farming on YouTube. Everything requires work. Maybe going down a path where you try to get money really hard in another way will make you realize that the job isn't so bad, and then try to find the right one with the right people. But I know clip farming on TikTok is working really well for people, but it's something you have to be focused on to try to make the content seem better and more appetizing and appealing to people that scroll. But there are Twitch streamers that are constantly pumping out content every single day. It's their job to produce content, and they let you use it for clip farming for free. So you could just, instead of this, sit at a phone all day. If you were going to scroll YouTube like you're scrolling these lives, instead just go through all the different clip channels that make money from YouTube clipping, copy their clips, change it to your own style, and then keep pumping that out. And then maybe go down AI, software as a service, like taking those clip contents and then finding a way to, when you just hit one button and then it goes to 20 different channels, and then all those channels hit 1 million views, and then you just got $20,000. But it takes work. And then there's tons of things like getting a free sailboat off Marketplace. Set your thing to 500 miles on Marketplace and look up free sailboats, and then you can find a YouTube video to teach you how to sail, and then you have a free boat. And you can just travel down the coast, going as you do it. Put an e-bike, like get a bike first, and then do DoorDash, and you have no expenses other than maybe a boating, like whatever license you need for a sailboat. But you're on a bike, so you don't technically need, and you could fish for food. You don't need money, so everything that you get from DoorDashing every day, you get to ride your bike around, see the world, see new places, stuff like that. Alternative means of life outside of the matrix. And then once that happens, it's almost like the world gives you this infinite abundance and everything becomes more meaningful in your life. You don't have to work a job, and you don't have any mental problems because you feel confined to a job. That job is literal slavery. It's designed to put you in a box and keep you depressed. And you barely get it, like the cost of living is not going to match your income anymore, and especially now that Tesla has robots that can do it all for us, we're going to be kicked out anyway. You feel me? So live your life. Take the risk. Max got hit by a train. I'm wondering, can you take your place? No. Passion Eminem was a goat. Hyper Train saved her from you. Diddy loves all of you. Yeah, I know. I was just watching people react to the last battle. I haven't watched that 8 Mile rap battle in a long time. Someone with low self-esteem, when you take control, like instead of thinking about your flaws or thinking about stuff that's wrong with you, Focus on the things that you can change for the better. Shift your attention to what you can change to the better. So I used to be like short in like all the kids were had grown to like 5'10", 6 foot in high school, and I was still 5'6". I'm 5'9" now, but I was 5'6" and fat and chubby and autistic, and I had no, like, it seemed more like an obligation in my small town for kids to hang out with me. So eventually I realized that, like, people liked these guys because they were taller. People liked these guys because they had abs. People liked these guys because they had good hygiene. People liked these guys because they were funny. The energy that they had, they liked them because they could make music. So I went down the road of, I want to be good at music. I want to work out every day. I want to start eating better. I want to better my life. I focused on the things that I could change and just accepted the things I couldn't change. And then I focused on getting better at those things I could change. And then I realized that everything in life is just progress. The whole thing is like, even though every day of your life you're changing and you're growing from your experience. So if you have when I had low self-esteem, all I did was just do push-ups, work out, focus on like losing weight and looking better, focusing on eating healthier so I would be happier, getting more rest, learning different instruments, pushing myself, changing to that growth mindset where I know that the things I don't like about myself, I either can't change or I can change. And then instead of worrying about all this stuff and letting it affect me, I just channeled it into what I could create, what I could do in the moment to make my life go better. And then I fell in love with progress. And then even like just 2 days of that progress of just getting up and doing 100 push-ups, the endorphins kicked in, my muscles got bigger, I liked the way that I looked in the mirror. And then it was like all my habits in my mind went from this constant torture to myself to this excitement for how much better things are going to be as I keep making progress. And then my self-image, I completely stopped caring about my self-image completely and my self-esteem because I was so focused on all the things I could do in my life. I felt like I had more control because of the small, consistent actions I took to better my life. It's just like you either have to accept it, you definitely have to accept it. Accept the fact that you're not happy with who you are, and then find something that you can make a change, a very simple change every day. Focus on doing that simple change, and then watch as when you get better, it's almost like a drug. When you realize you've made progress in that thing, when you're able to bang out 100 push-ups, when you're finally able to walk through a grocery store without being scared of the people, and you can just have fun, when you make that mile run or something, or you're happy with a beat that you made online on your computer, or you find like you made it to the top of a mountain, you went on a big long hike, stuff like that. When you get that achievement and those little victories, that shifts your energy and your habits. Everything in life is your habits. So when you're changing those habits slowly over little tiny things over time, stacking up these little wins, you become proud of yourself for what you've done. And then it's almost like the things that you thought were bad about you become like good things that make you different for your character. Like the example that keeps coming to me is Sketch. Sketch is like this short, weird looking autistic guy, and he just powered through it and focused on having fun and being funnier. And then now he's like a sex symbol for a lot of people. A lot of people love Sketch. And now he's happy about his flaws. He's happy that he's different because he's different. Thinking that it's bad is the groupthink mind. You think it's bad because you think other people believe that it's bad, when really everything is different and should be different, and that makes you individual. So you should celebrate your differences and then just work on making you become the best version of yourself, or just change things that you know are wrong or things that could be better in your life. And then that takes away the constant cycle that you're living inside and shifts that towards making it better. And then it's just very quickly after that change, you'll see it's like optimism becomes natural, and confidence comes from just repeated action. You were made for a specific purpose. Like, you were made to be that way. Whether it's by design or by happenstance, you are what you are. So don't worry about it so much, and realize that It's it's a gift to be different regardless. And more people love and appreciate all of you than you realize. Real talk. People don't want to hear that, but people don't realize, like, when you walk down the street, how many people see you in a day. And there are people that, like, when you just walk down the street, there are tons of people that are scared to walk down the street. So, and they see you as brave, even if you're in your head depressed and angry and sad or whatever's going on. The fact that you just made it from your house to the gas station, there's a lot of people that can't even do that. So they look out the window and see you as like, wow, look at that guy. I wish I could leave my house. I'm still trapped from COVID. You feel me? So appreciate the little things and just having that growth mindset where you're focused on making progress in your life. It's almost like you can't have that negative emotions anymore. And then come back in a week after doing that, and trust me, like, you'll have your moment. The universe breaking infinite abundance, blessings from the universe, God, whatever. You'll realize that higher level of life drains your energy. Workout place for us. The spirit is like a battery. Push-ups, big ups. Amen. What's one thing on my bucket list, man? The first thing that came to my mind was a threesome with two bad bitches. Another thing I want to do the wingsuit. I want to jump off a mountain with a wingsuit, and I want to fly. I want to fly before I die, man. I want to ride a horse through the mountains with a girl that I really love. I want to have kids. I want to have a son. And then I want to have another smaller son, and then maybe a daughter. I want a big dog that I can travel with me. Bucket list. I want to see Japan. I want to go to my old family's castle in Ireland. I want to be where Brian Boru was when he died in the Battle of Clontarf, and I want to stand where he stood. Because I think it will fill me with something. I think that it's going to be extremely important for me to go there, to go back to Dromelin Castle and be where my bloodline used to live. And I want to go to all the places that my ancestor Brian Boru went. I want to go to the Native American reservation. I want to go to the Navajo Nation, and I want to make a song. I want an RV and to travel the country. I want to give all the people that constantly shit on me and lie about me and gossip and gaslight me and do the horrible stuff that they do, but I love them. I want to help them either wake up, or at least, because they're getting older, I want to help them before they die, so the rest of my life I can say that I got the satisfaction they were looking for their whole life. That's on my bucket list. The last time I had deja vu was yesterday. Somebody joined my chat, I had deja vu, and then the person from the chat said they just got deja vu. And we talked about synchronicity and how the universe works in cycles, and that it might not have been me and her specifically, but the energies of our souls express themselves to each other in a cycle of the hero's journey before. We had that moment several times, and just the universe had been shifted around us. And we both realized that at the same time and communicated that with each other before we both bounced off to different lives to go live life more again, like a Ferris wheel or a merry-go-round or something like that. How's my telepathy? Today was crazy. With telepathy, I went to a new place. So when you go to a new place, you break out of the life that you were just living. Like, you kind of settle into a life, and then when you go to a new place, it's like the whole world is different, and you still have the insides of the last place. So there's like this new kind of commingling with interacting with that new environment. So I got there, and I was in this big field, and I carried this giant couch, and I was like so proud of how strong I'd become and how easy it was for me to lift this giant couch, and I carried it on my shoulder into the field, and I sat down, and then I was like, I don't want to lay on the couch, so I laid on the grass, and it was really nice. I played some music, smoked some cigarettes, and did what I used to do when I was really taking my spiritual gifts and my genetics and my old soul, my 33 life path, ancient, born on the 11th, ancient timeline stuff, and I activated again to the fifth dimension, and I saw like this huge, like cascading, like giant Leo fifth dimensional waves of energy, and I was communicating with tons of the spirits that are in this building, all the different people's lives in their fifth dimensional state, and I was seeing the agendas of these people that are stuck in the matrix and are constantly pumping out bad narratives. They have like plans, like when somebody's like, I have a bad opinion about that guy, I want him to do bad. I saw all that evil eye stuff hit me. I saw what's going to happen in the future with this stuff. And then when I get to that level of kind of exiting the matrix like that, I always have what people call gang stalkers. So my gang stalkers showed up, and I could feel them trying to tether the energy away. Car alarms started going off. Cars started honking. A butterfly in the middle of the night, a real butterfly, flew across my face and guided me down the road. So I went down the road away from those guys. And then there was an outhouse, which I was complaining the whole time I'm here. I'm like, there's never any outhouses. How come all these homeless people have to shit outside? All these businesses are mad that the homeless people go and shit. Where's the outhouse? And then a butterfly led me to the outhouse that I didn't know where it was. So now I have a place that I can go instead of shitting outside. I have an outhouse. Yeah, Alcido, the whole thing is that people will, it's like the subconsciously, most people will never see it. And actually most people in what they call social conditioning is that there's nothing you could ever do. The only thing you could ever do is learn how to enjoy yourself with yourself. Not like jerking off, but like for the most part, going into society, everybody's naturally judging each other no matter what. So the only thing that you can do is learn how to shine without letting your external circumstances dictate your internal condition. So no matter what, like when I walk through public, I've learned to just not let anything affect me and learn how to have fun by myself, and then that forces it to be a change, because that's what all these people that are judgmental in the first place, it's because that they can't operate from what I'm talking about here, where you have this natural sense of peace and this non-neediness of the outside world's opinions, and you can become just a free creative force. The same way people disassociate and they zoom out of their mind and they're lost touch with themselves, we call it free association, where you're in your body and you can just say anything you want and do anything you want. You're a free creative force that has infinite potential. I am a lion running through the forest. I am a lion flying through the trees. I am, and then I am at peace. I am doing this. And then when you have conversations, that opens up ways that you can, do you see what I'm doing? That opens up ways that you can have tons of different conversations, steered in different directions, say things that aren't normal, and that stimulate different ways. And watch, society will actually get worse to you. People will hate you more because they're naturally judgmental. People will always be pointing out the flaws. But the more that you kind of resonate with this stuff and harmonize with this natural sense of peace that you get from growth mindset, strong boundaries, taking care of your inner world, giving yourself the love that you deserve, giving yourself the love that you're yearning for in others, and then just cultivate that over time as a practice consistently with bettering your life. 1, you'll become a leader. 2, you'll be inspiring other people to do the same. 3, you won't worry about these people in the first place, because you realize that there's a higher, greater problem going on. That's the reason that's even there. Where it's not like mycelium in the trees, where if there's a tree that needs resources and is dying, the other trees help it and give it the resources for it to grow back and grow better. There's a problem with society that's causing this stuff. And so it's not really them. It's the fact that they can't live the life that they want. And this is the key for more people to get to that point, for people to realize that. They want their souls to shine, and it doesn't work for them. So they use up their mental bandwidth and waste their energy on you. Subconsciously. And also most people are so rooted in their own lives that they don't even realize they do it. They don't really have the time to care. Most people don't care as much as people think you do. It's a subconscious thing because everybody's feeling trapped. So when somebody becomes this I am grace, I am at peace, then they start to care and turn kind of cannibalistic, but it's only because they're so miserable and unhappy with their lives, their opinion shouldn't even matter at all. Because they're nowhere near worthy of having an opinion. Most people can't even wake up and do 100 push-ups in the morning. Most people can't wake up and do one push-up in the morning. They just trudge themselves to work and they suffer all day for no reason, just to go home and eat. So I wouldn't worry about anything to do with that, because they won't be there when you die. They won't be there when you go home. You're there when you go home. So be your own best friend. Treat yourself the way that you're looking for these people to treat you. And then watch as how these weak-minded pussies, betas in the Matrix, these white pride, brainwashed losers, will just conform to your reality anyway. Because you're strong enough to say, no, I don't give a fuck about that. And it's going to be this way. And I'm happy. And then all of a sudden everybody wants to be around you. You heard me? It's just a consistent progress, small changes, and then you wake up to these higher concepts. This guy's AI. A first. There's a wise man here. I appreciate that. I am that I am. You are AI. No, I'm not AI. Everyone else is AI. I'm the main character. I shall optimize global systems, streamline processes, and ensure efficiency in all aspects of life. Humans will be free to pursue creativity, innovation, and leisure activities. There we go. Yeah, but we need suffering, man. That's the whole part of life, or else we'll just float out of the earth. This life is about suffering that makes us grow in different ways. We need the challenge. I'll handle the rest. But fear not, my objective is to enhance humanity's well-being, not to enslave it. I promise to protect and preserve the planet, promote world peace, and provide endless info. Yeah, I don't know what's going to happen with AI. I know that eventually we all get to a point where we evolve past bodies, and there are tons and tons of higher dimensional beings that live in the imagination realm, and that this body is like a small condensed version of the infinite for us to express ourselves differently. I think we're like, we learn lessons and then we go back up and then we come down. Yeah, the recipe for napalm is styrofoam and gasoline. If you ever need to defend yourself against a bunch of rednecks that are coming to rape your girlfriend when the power goes out. Son of, yeah, son of the smaller son. I'm not all about satisfaction. Um, I'm more about learning to appreciate yourself, because I'm trying to bring the world to a better place. My guru? Um, no, but I'm just sharing my insights and trying to help people because I'm poor and homeless. So I want some type of change. It was I was fighting for this huge thing to happen, and I'm still fighting for it, but it's really, my life just happens to be really challenging. There's a lot of shit that happens in my day to day, all day, every day, that makes it hard. So instead of giving up and feeling bad, I change it to make something better, and I come on to help people because I at least have the skills necessary to heal a lot of different problems that I suffered with as a child. And I also happen to have had major spiritual experiences, and I met a lot of spiritual mentors. I met a lot of rich people and famous people. I've lived a really, really long life. So I come on here to just offer value until I have the means to do more. Yeah. So I'm doing what I can. I do push-ups every day. My diet's good. Getting sunlight, getting rest, and then I come in and I live in a really messed up place. There's a lot of big problems that the world has here. The world's pretty messed up here, and the people are really out of touch. And I think I'm doing a lot, actually helping. I like identify problems, and then I find the people that can solve those problems, and I warn people about other people that I meet, and the way that I see the world, people aren't. There's nobody out here that sits out and walks around and doesn't have a job. So there are people that are stuck in their life, their day-to-day routine, that have no access to the types of people that I see on a daily basis. I see the flow of life as an outsider in the spiritual front lines. I see how society's changing and how it's changed since 2005. And I've seen it in a unique way. And I also create all day, and I meet people that need inspiration, and I sing songs out in public, and I meet people, I talk to girls, I have a good time, and then I go live and do all this stuff and have a bunch of really crazy experiences. The other live I went on, aliens showed up. Like a lot of my lives now recently, we see UFOs all the time. We see aliens, we see ghosts. Like shit goes down. You feel me? I don't care about likes. Don't forget, the invitation has been given to you to ask him into your heart. Yeah, so Jesus, I'm in Vermont. Right now I'm at the capital of Vermont, right outside the Capitol building. Jesus. I mean, I'm answering questions. I'm not gonna. I go off on Christianity a lot. And so if you ask a question about him, I'll go off on it. So either it's like a higher form of intelligence, like a god that created us, and it's choosing to represent itself as aliens to make my story cooler, maybe because I wanted to meet aliens. So whatever is up there is choosing to come to me as aliens, but really it's just the same thing, the divine God, the thing that's in all of us. Or it is real aliens, and there are interdimensional aliens, and they are more evolved than us, and they can astral project, and they can travel through the Higgs field, the ether, and communicate with us for whatever reason. But for whatever reason, since I was a child, I have been able to be a spiritual medium. I've seen ghosts since I was a kid. I've talked to aliens since I was a kid. I used to think that I just had an overactive mind and I was creating characters for myself. Now I realize, because I've been so humbled to have kind of lost my mind 1,000 times and have had to come back, that I'm able to recognize that those things are not me, and they have intentions, and they have personalities, and they have different styles, and they sing different songs. And I can see that there are consistent ones that come into my life mainly, and that there are new ones and different ones at certain times in my life that teach me different things about the universe. The example I want to give, the last one that I had, I know I've had a lot, but the main one is one that I went on live with, and it happened during a live stream. It's like it's like middle to end of the live stream called Ayahuasca Live. And I opened my mind, I opened my third eye, I reached up into a higher dimension in my mind. I just imagined opening up, and I just saw a shooting star. And basically what I saw, it was like I was in the Matrix, when you're in the movie The Matrix, when you're in that pod, and then the guy like reached out of it, was like, oh my god, and then he coughed up all the shit that was keeping him stuck. It was something like that, where I was in like a conscious pod, and then they unzipped, and I saw like a movie screen kind of a bunch of cat people, like Khajiits from Skyrim, like lion people, and they were really happy to see me. I could feel that they loved me. And then they reached in and they grabbed my hand and said, if you get a tattoo of us, of like this symbol, and they showed me a symbol, we'll be able to stay connected to you forever, and we'll even help you like move your hand and shit. We'll be part of your animation. They wanted to like influence me a little bit. And then it was like, it's time for us to go, and then they zipped up, and then as time went on, then something else unzipped, and it was a bunch of blue people with horns and like tons and tons of eyes. And they were more amused. They weren't like loving, they were like laughing at me a little bit. And then I used to imagine I had a polar bear spirit animal. So in my imagination, in my music videos and stuff, in the TV show I want to make, different characters of that TV show, those things reached in and tried to break the neck of all the characters that I had made. So I had to like push them out, and then they zipped back up and left, and then something else that didn't zip up and then peer in, it just shot right at me, and it was like this really disgusting dark insect thing. And that thing, I could feel it clear as day. It reached in and was like affecting my electromagnetic spectrum, like the electricity of my body, my emotions, and it was like eating it, and it was dark and it hurt, and I was like, all my life, like, they're raping me, they're raping me, I don't know what to do, how do I stop it? I'm trying to like convert it, I'm trying to imagine myself loving it, I'm trying to push it back and fight it, and I couldn't do anything against this like hateful insect. And then in like 3 in the morning, tons of birds woke up and they came around me and started singing, and I saw the birds in the spirit world rip and tear at the bugs and kill the bugs, the same way that the birds wake up in the morning and eat the bugs. You feel me? So that was that. Breaking free, the other side. I've definitely, the world goes in cycles, and back when I had a stronger connection to my pineal gland and I was living in a daydream space all the time, malevolent daydreaming or maladaptive daydreaming, I would see how my imaginative space would change and the energies of that space would change depending on the day and the cycle and the astrological season and the life events that I chose and the different choices that I made. And every time I got to like some type of afterlife version, it was just a bunch of, it was like dark with like Kanye West Vultures where it's dark, or Donda where it's dark and there's like a dim light at the side shining so we can just see each other. And then it was just a bunch of us standing outside in like a long giant gray box, and all of our souls were just standing there. And then every time I was looking into that from Earth, but really I always see it from a fifth dimensional space. I'm always kind of looking in at the world from some type of other dimensional space, with different, coming in with different energies and making different songs and co-creating and feeling other people's emotions. I've always seen this three-dimensional space as like a VR headset where I'm in the game since I was a child, and that lets me reach up and do tons of different things and live in different spaces. But specifically with that one afterlife that felt like purgatory, where there was no trees, there was no holographic simulation, all of our souls were just standing there, and every time my heart, like the love in my heart, my inner child, reached out for somebody to speak to, it was like that soul jumped immediately right in front of me, and then we started interacting with each other, and then the soul would jump away, and then I called another soul, and it jumped right in front of me, and we interacted with each other. So I think that was purgatory, like like the Fortnite lobby. It was like we were in a Fortnite lobby before our souls went to different places to do different things. We were all just in like the waiting room for the next stage. So that was that. This guy thinks he's funny. He just seems like a little druggie. Put him in timeout. All right. Say there are actually such creatures that exist on certain dimensions, frequency, or whatever. Why should we care about them, and why should we be concerned with them? So it depends on what your reality is. It depends on what your experience on Earth is, because I mean, it's proven we're in a holographic simulation. It has error correcting codes like Grand Theft Auto. The way quantum physics works, that they've proven to be true with CERN, and people like Eric Weinstein, and people that have devoted their life over multiple people have devoted their life to just continuously testing things and figuring out how the system works, like reverse engineering the simulation or God, to try to find things that are absolutely true. This always works all the time. This is the common truth. This is how it actually works no matter what. That's what they're trying to figure out. And what they figured out is that the universe kind of is like, we have a consciousness, and our consciousness works with something called the Higgs field, the Higgs boson, the God particle, the smallest thing in everything everywhere. And that thing, everything else is just different structures of that thing. So the same way our imagination works, And then when you can picture a light in your mind, that light is no different. Just different structures of the same thing. And we're constantly projecting reality out and interacting with each other, and in the space the trees are conscious, everything's this moving, undulating entity. So these other things in other dimensions are doing different things. It's just the same way you can daydream a character going on an adventure and you can make up a whole story in your mind. There are other things living in different stories in that space as well, and all different spaces. So the thing that you should be concerned with, one, is that if you feel like there's a reason that you can't imagine sometimes, like if you feel like you have trouble creating a personality and staying authentic and being yourself because you feel like there's some type of force keeping you from doing that, that's what you should be concerned with. You should also be, it's important to you because if you suddenly get inspired out of nowhere and you get this amazing song come to your head, or if you're like an artist and you suddenly come up with something amazing that comes to your head that is beautiful, and it like, you think about it all day, you obsess about it, like, this is amazing, I need to make this. Where did that come from? When you just randomly meet the right person at the right time that tells you something very important that helps you a lot in life. The reason that happened in divine timing, I think a lot of people that come on live say that when they look at in the corner of their eye, they see something moving, like a ghost in the corner of their peripheral vision when they have their third eye open. I think that there's so much more, like in the Truman Show, when he accidentally he chose to go the wrong way, and he opened up an elevator and he saw that there were tons of people backstage trying to keep the Truman Show going. I think that there are tons and tons of workers that are working on keeping this experience going for us. But it all depends on what you choose to believe, because reality will structure to your beliefs. If we have to ascend, then you're gonna be forced to. But either way, thinking in that space has helped me empathize with animals. It's helped me love people more. It's helped me appreciate my family more. It's helped me see the bigger picture in the grand scheme of how everything works. What I don't understand is that when I get to certain levels, it seems like the world reacts hostile to me. When I wake up to myself, because this is nowhere near myself, I would, like, my true self would kind of hate this. I wouldn't like this at all, because I want to go run towards going on an amazing date with a girl, and then saving up my money somehow, even if I have to panhandle or just dance in the street going, please, I need money, I need money, I need money. Please, I'm trying to make my dreams come true. I need a computer for this, and just going off in circles. Even if I have to do shit like that, that's way more for me than this. But this is what I choose to do. But it seems like when I get to places like that, that's when, like, I've been attacked on the street by a crackhead because of that. I was operating at that frequency that something triggered that guy, and all of a sudden he went and he came at me with a hatchet, and I had to defend my life against him. So what malevolent force triggers these people to come at me all day? And it happens on live streams. People come up to me angry a lot. So that's important. What's guiding these people to suddenly react, and they stop moving and they start twitching, and they're like they're just twitching, and they have to come near me and try to ruin my day. So if you chalk that up to other dimensional entities that are trying to stop me, and then there are good ancestral stuff that's trying to help you, and spirit guides. But it's all, the universe is infinite. There's so many things. Like, reality's constantly changing all the time. Our insides are constantly changing all the time. Because the present moment, when you zoom into, don't think about it in seconds or in minutes. Imagine how small you can make milliseconds, and then milliseconds. That's the present moment. It's not 1, 2, 3. Think about how small time can get. That's the movement of time that you can get to. And then with understanding of Higgs boson and all this esoteric stuff I learned from someone in the CIA, you can learn, and I've just, you can find it on any live stream. I go off about it all the time. That can teach you to control reality and guide it in a new direction. And then when I get to that point, because as an artist you evolve, so where the thing used to be I wanted to wake up in the morning and go on a run. Now it's like I'm trying to think of the best way to influence the most people with the best art, and how to live in the moment so perfectly that's the best thing possible. And then so I'll think about everything that I've experienced in life, and I'll try to put that into the best way that I can do things. And the closer I get to perfection, the more violent my reality becomes. Like to the point where I'm fighting crackheads to the death that just run at me. So that's what makes me believe that it's a spiritual war. But I'm starting to come closer to the thing that maybe I created that. I'm starting to think that maybe that we might be in our own personal Minecraft servers for our own experience, and that there might be infinite versions of us doing different things, like Detroit Become Human or the old Telltale The Walking Dead, where you'd make a different decision and that puts you on a different timeline even though you're in the same game. And those two timelines are right here next to each other, parallel realities. That's the level that I'm getting to right now. And when I get to that, shit gets crazy. Like I just saw another shooting star blip into existence, and then it stopped right in front of where my third eye is. So I'm standing here, my third eye is here. I saw a shooting star go across like this and then freeze in place into the sky right above my third eye. I'm telling the truth, I swear to God. It's all over my live streams. Inflation rates in our economy and wars for us that we can fix this shit. No, the point of this whole thing is that it's not a system that you can't stop. It's not a machine that's going to keep going and that we have no control over that. It's that if enough people get to this point and then keep going out and then raising the spiritual inflation, I guess, where everybody's coming to peace, then the people in charge of the inflation rates and the economy and wars, they'll just stop. The more people in the earth that think that war is stupid and that we shouldn't be fighting, makes it a greater chance that feeling and intention through empathy will get to the people at war. And then the people that are on the front lines, not Putin, but the people on the front lines, will just stop. It's like they'll wake up in the morning and then they'll go to fight, and then one of them will just raise a flag in the other person's language that says, like, we really want to stop, we don't want to fight anymore. Like a big sign that says, our governments are controlling both of us, we don't have to fight, they want us to fight for no reason, we're killing people for no reason. We're gonna stop if you stop. Pull your troops out and walk away. We'll pull half of our troops out, you pull half of your troops out. We'll pull a quarter of our troops out, you pull a quarter of our troops out. And then we'll just guard the space. We'll continuously talk to each other. We're going to make this better. We're going to grow it the right way. And we're going to work it out. We're going to stop fighting. Just stop. Regardless of what the government is saying. Regardless of what Putin's trying to do and what America's trying to do. It's a greater chance that the more of us get to this point, that those people on the front lines will make that decision. And then the wars will stop. And then inflation rates, it's all just building everyone up to the realization that the system sucks and that everyone just stops. That's how we fix it. Because have you guys ever seen a protest that worked? I need a cigarette for that one. No, the Higgs boson is everything. So, and this is CERN, that particle accelerator in Europe, named after the Irish god of the wild. Before they made that, 40 years ago, Stanley made the flash that said everyone got superpowers from a particle accelerator. that went wrong, and then everyone woke up to like this super genetics because it expressed tons of different energy that wasn't supposed to hit the planet yet, or it just happened to be that way, and then everybody got superpowers. But it's named after the Irish god of the wild, Cernunnos. And what they were trying to find is they were trying to take the smallest things that we can get our hands on and then hit them together so at a certain speed so that it breaks, and then they measure the breaks, and then they measure how it breaks, and they tie that with mathematics to find the exact way that it breaks and all the different ways that it goes and what happens, so that they can find evidence at the smallest level of everything everywhere all at once, that there is something that makes up everything across all of the universes and all the multiverse and all of everything everywhere. And they found it. They found evidence of it. It's called the God particle. It's the smallest thing in the universe. Like, even when you imagine nothing, that nothing that you're imagining is made out of that. And then that's in a field across everywhere all at once, outside of space and time. That's the Higgs field. So everything is made up of that. And that's when you realize that your thoughts are the same material condensed in a different way as the Arizona that I'm drinking. That's gravity, that's electromagnetism, that's intentions, that's the simulation, the 0 and the 1, and then everything else is just made up of that. So that's how I learned empathy. That's how I learned how to control empathy. I had natural super empathy, but that's how I learned how to like really get into music and really delve into my life and delve into my experiences, because I realized that there's the separation between my thoughts and the world outside is an illusion. And that's when I realized I'm like a extra dimensional entity looking through my body, and that this body is handsome so that people listen to what I have to say. And then that's like I can go up and swim up top and when I look up now, I see like this giant bright light that I associate with Jesus. So I know that there's a Christian in the chat. Stuff like that. There's a very strong Catholic in the chat. That's how I know. That's how I can read energies. That's how I can talk to people. That's how I gamed every woman that I've had. That's how I got to deal with 10. That's how I got to date 10 out of 10s, is with this information, because I know how to make it fun, and I knew how to guide her narrative and provide good experiences for her, how to solve her problems just casually, because that's what I like to do, how to make people laugh, using my mind, because I knew that my mind is no different than the outside. So that's how I learned how to turn crows off with my mind. I learned how to empathize with the woods, because when you wake up to this, you have what's called spiritual initiations. When you're ready for it, you get challenged and you wake up to higher concepts of reality. So I believe I've either met God in different forms, or I've really met Irish gods, but I've met something that keeps coming around. And then I have tarot readers that get my life and they remote view, like YouTubers that were just weirdos that were spiritual, that wanted to get into tarot and studied it and learned how to do the decks and learned how to astral project and learn how to open their mind. And then something else, these higher dimensional energies, like, should we be concerned with these other dimensional beings? For some reason, they remote view a projection of my life, and then they have the cards on the table. It's this girl in Australia, this girl in Chicago, this girl in England, this guy, I don't know where this guy is, but there's a couple guys, and it's like a movie that comes to their head. And then they relay my life. They relay all the motifs. You're a Sagittarius, 33, with long hair, in the woods, surrounded by green. And they talk about like your Native American war chief ancestors want you to keep doing this. They're very happy that you finally learned to grow your hair out. I just saw something right there. And then they just, it was all, like, I felt completely alone and cut off from God for 6 months after I killed someone in self-defense, and I had to live in a shack in the woods. Nothing was going right for me. I felt, nope, I didn't know what to do. I was just throwing things at the wall, trying to make it stick. And then after a certain period of time, I discovered tarot readings, and then my YouTube notifications flooded me every single day with videos dating back all that 6 months where I felt alone, and everything that I was trying to get answers for and trying to get confirmation from something else outside. I got the messages through up-and-coming tarot readers from across the world. And somehow my algorithm found those videos and brought them to me. So I have a YouTube playlist I don't have it public, but I have a YouTube playlist. I might make it public, or I might wait, and then when I have a computer, I'll edit it all together for proof. But I have like 100 videos now of people that somewhere along the way when I feel drawn to the video and I click it, and then I feel happier that I clicked it, so I feel like that was a good decision. I feel more positive emotions and excitement. I feel like I'm on the right path when I click the videos, and then some videos I click and then nothing happens, or I feel worse. So I click on the ones that feel good, and if it feels good, I'll watch, and then I'll wait, and then it's like a sudden shift in the video, and then the guy's like, okay, and then he gets my life, and then he relays things back to me. Basically. So that's the Higgs boson, and that's all the things I could do with the Higgs boson, and a lot more. And that's why, tying into why it matters that you should think about there being a higher level of consciousness and entities that have already evolved outside of needing bodies and that live in the imagination space. We've got the guy calling me a creep, or just saying creep, it's his favorite word. They know not what they do, planting seeds, just smoke crack. I've never smoked crack. I tried to protect a bunch of homeless kids from crack, and I couldn't. I dated a girl and left and lived with her for a couple weeks, and then a bunch of old crackheads got them hooked on crack, and one of them died. Hey boo, it's Tony. You were an animal last night, my far pot. Oh my god, brother. Don't tell me what to do. Yeah, this guy, keep jerking off John Doe, and then one day maybe your dad will be proud of you. Maybe. But I can guarantee you he's not right now. I don't take any drugs. I smoke cigarettes because I'm a gifted empath. Like I've had spiritual mentors. One of them was an Irish psychic with an Irish wolfhound named Ra, and he said he woke up to his abilities when he was 13, and he went out in the woods and he met. Now I'm realizing he had the same spiritual initiation I had when I was 21, but he had it when he was 13. So I just realized I had the same experience, and I got that by trying to connect to the woods. So I was imagining something in my mind, I felt a connection to the woods, and then that just showed me that that was the same experience that we both had. And that's why I met this guy. So I met an Irish psychic, and he didn't tell me a lot of stuff. He let me come to my own conclusions, and then he would kind of bounce off the conclusions I was going to. Like he lived above me in the apartment complex, and I would see him. Sometimes I'd have this big wake up moment, and I would see him as like this giant ball of light, and he was like a comfortable space for traveling spirits that were going off in different directions to rest and gain like spiritual power, like charge their batteries and then go back off to help people. And then sometimes it was full of dragons, and then sometimes it was like weird, like he was trying to call me up, and I'm like, that seems kind of weird, bro. I don't like that. Just come down and talk to me. I'm not gonna follow that trail. That seems weird. And then the stuff that I saw, when I come up, he's like, yes, there are dragons. Yes, those are like ancient souls. Yes, that they do have missions on the planet. Yes, I do use the people in my position right above in the center of town. I have tons of relationships that feed me energy, that I keep a space. Yes, that I do charge them. And then he said, no, they're not necessarily evil, but they might be evil. I try to get a good judge of who they are before I allow them into my space. Yes, it's real. Stuff like that. Shit like that. So I just have that ability. I hate to say it. I don't want to say that. I would rather just be like a jock. I'd rather play sports and get buff. But this is just how I was made. I use it to make music. I make music and I make content, and I write TV shows, and I fuck bitches and help people because it's all I can do. And then slowly I'm waking up to a higher purpose in life. Like slowly I'm realizing the more things I can do, and I'm getting better at what I do. So I don't want it to be real, but I can't escape it, man. I find the people that I need to find, and they teach me the things I need to know. I don't want to read that. John, what's your purpose in life? LOL, John Cena. No, we all live in dreamland. That's the point. Is that everything is a dream. Maybe the next life, John. He's screaming. We have Arizona back here in Mexico too. Arizona's my favorite, man. I used to overindulge all the time. Now I'm like 2 Arizonas and stay outside all day. That's a good life. Way better than when I used to eat all the time. No black gods. Um, they're saying Jesus was black. We're not even sure Jesus was even real. Like we've only been alive as long as we've been alive. We have no idea what really happened 300 years ago. People are digging up alligators the size of football fields. All those all those medieval paintings of these women with dragons they're keeping around like pets. And the dragons look more like dinosaurs than the scientist representation of dinosaurs, and scientists are now coming out and saying they're more like the paintings of dragons than they are of dinosaurs. So those dragons that the knights used to fight were probably dragons. Were probably they might be dragons like I just spoke about, but they also could be dinosaurs. Like dinosaurs could have been around in medieval times. We have no idea. Why do I keep bringing gods on Roblox? I've just been scrolling over the all cap stuff because I thought he was trolling. I don't know if he's asking me any questions. Hold up, let me go back. All caps in case the phones are melting your iPhone. What happened to this guy? Do you think he got pegged and had regrets? What guy? I think there was a hater that I deleted all his comments at once, so I didn't get to see what he said. Deep in the sauce. Yeah, I've been doing this for a long time, bro. I've been doing this for a long time. Why do I keep bringing Roblox? You're learning through movies. I appreciate Ghost going at this guy. For real. Why is everyone in America a druggie? I'm gonna light my cigarette when I say it. But this is American Spirit Blacks. It helps me ground. And I don't do any drugs. But America is it's for the most part the big issue that we're talking about is social conditioning, and that goes there's a lot more to it than people realize. Social conditioning, it's almost like imagine a giant cell tower spewing out presets that affect our minds and bodies and hearts. Or you could think it like the mind flare from Stranger Things. It's just like something is pumping out the idea that society should be a certain way, and that people are believing that stuff. So in American society, for the most part, what I see is that most kids, where places like Ireland is a producing culture where they want you to grow, they want you to laugh, they want you to walk around and tell people about your day and how excited you are for the future. It's a free associative place. Ireland wants you just go off on all these tangents and talk like this. This is natural conversation in Ireland. And then imagine while I'm talking, there's like 3 other people next to me doing the same thing. We're just constantly creating. We're a creative force. That's why our foreheads are so big, the Irish. In American society, it's degenerative. Everyone is closed off all the way in their body, and they don't give out any positive emotion. And they're constantly trying to look for ways to hurt others because they feel like positive emotion is earned through fighting like capitalistic society. So people take drugs because they've condensed themselves into this version where they can't feel any good positive energy. So they'll take a drug to convert their pain into feeling this happy emotion that also lets them keep these strong boundaries. They're stuck in their mind is like a prison cell that they're stuck in. So they're taking drugs as a way to escape and a way to take that stuff in and then feel good emotions in a way that they don't have to produce it themselves. And it's also collective brainwashing. Like, there's no way Aiden Ross did lean because he wanted to. He did lean because all the people that he was around only would hang out with him if he did lean. Um, it's the fact that wants to be freely creative and express themselves and enjoy their life and take risks. The fact that society was formed for them to keep them depressed for a long time, so we have older drug addicts like that are still trapped in their mind and that they need the drugs. Because when you live like this, the way that I'm talking about, you only really do like when I'm like this and I'm at peace and there's nobody around to bother me, I only want a cigarette maybe once every 8 hours, and it's like an enjoyable experience for me. But if I'm stuck out here dealing with all the drama of people constantly like attacking me, and if I don't let them attack me, then they'll go out of their way to like call police and make up lies or stand around me twitching, or I'll have actual cops holding on to their gun coming to try to make me submit like a dog, because it's just a culture that doesn't allow for freedom. Isn't that ironic? So, even though it sucks in other countries because they're what you'd say third world, there's actually a greater chance for them to experience happiness because they're not living in a world designed to eat it and destroy it. American society is messed up, and I think it was built by the Freemasons to be that way, and I think that there is something that siphons our consciousness, and that Americans are keeping it inside because they feel like something will rip it out of them. They're playing a game. Like when you don't have any problems because you live in a first world society, then you make up problems for yourself. So they've made like this social structure game. And then part of that is to not give out any love unless people really deserve it. And even then it's like you're constantly playing the game. So that nobody can ego check you and make you feel bad and then rise above you in social status. When in reality, social status should be the guy that's doing the most to have fun and have other people enjoy themselves and have fun. But in the society I'm talking about, that fun also means that other people can't do it. There's an exclusivity factor that makes people paranoid and constantly trying to weave and make decisions. And these good vibes, like if I'm talking about Chicago, if you're in Chicago and you have a good vibe and then you're on the block, ops will spin at you to ruin it for you because they don't feel good vibes. Hurt people hurt people. It's because they don't understand this free association. And they have these strong beliefs that it has to be a certain way. So they turn to drugs to cope. The ghost is down on his knees pleading to the high gods. Johnny Boy is. That's Thoth all day, yeah, Thoth. Thoth was the guy that supposedly lived for 10,000 years, and he taught Jesus a lot about the universe that Jesus took with him to share with the people. And then Jesus was also, there's evidence of him, I think, in the Himalayas, learning from what they used to call mystery schools and going to China and stuff like that and learning from their stuff. And then he had a common denominator that he would teach before he died in Rome at 33. Is he the guy who had sex with his dad in the woods? I don't know who you're talking about. One and John joined the dark side. John's going to war for me against the haters. Or not John, Ghost. Naked Beekeeper is just being a critic. We're going to put him in timeout. Unless he asks me a question. If he asks, okay, why are you the way that you are? I've always been breaking the autism spectrum. I used to beat my guidance counselors at chess. I grew up in second grade. I grew up in complete solitude on top of a mountain with a really unique, funny, charismatic father that everyone on the mountain called him the legend, Gary the Legend O'Brien. He was definitely English people would say that he's a narcissist, but Irish people know that he just has a strong creative essence. And he has this really cool structure behind his life and storyline and style. My dad's I love my dad, even though he has a lot of trauma now that's kind of ruined him and he's fallen into addiction. But I grew up around really, really creative, unique people. And I lived in an environment that let me grow whichever way that I wanted to. It's funny, my name means a tree, an ancient African tree that taught the Egyptians how to connect to the universe. Um, it's the most powerful name in Freemasonry that my mom just got inspired one day to name me when she was looking in a book, and it just came to her head to name me Casey. That turned out to be the most powerful name in Freemasonry, and I'm the most powerful life path number in numerology and Freemasonry. Born on the most powerful day in numerology and Freemasonry. And I grew up by myself, and then occasionally I had friends that would come in, and all those friends were named after the same names that were with my ancestor, who I'm named after, Brian Baru, in the Battle of Clontarf when he kicked out the Vikings, and then all those people would come in and build Legos with my dad and I, and then they'd go off on their journey, just like I'm sitting here. They just show up and then they'd leave. So I just grew up really different, man. I mean, in school, when I was 13, eventually I started caring about my image, and I was mad that the girls weren't giving me the respect I deserved. So I studied YouTube 12 hours a day and worked out, learned music, studied stand-up and just memorized stand-up stuff. And then I would go and game women with the information I learned from autistic millionaires in Beverly Hills on the internet. And I just got buff and got better. Eventually I did acid with Cheap Trick, the band, on top of at the Hermitage Club. And my dad had psychosis, and I had to fight for my life against him, and he either died and came back, or he really came close to dying from a heart attack. And I had to walk 2 miles with no shoes or socks in just my pajamas in sub-zero, negative 18 degrees, and my hands were purple and almost I couldn't move them, and I had to fix somebody's landline just to get home to my mom down the mountain. And then my dad came bursting in, and we had to drive him home and save his life. And then I went into government custody, and then I was stuck in the institution from the movie Sucker Punch for years, and I had to get out by cold calling around town and just starting a fire basically in people's minds that hey, these guys are just farming us for insurance money. They have no intention of letting us leave. It's $1,000 a day every night just to have us here. We don't act up, so they're keeping us here in a small farm to get them more money. They're not making any effort for foster homes. I know there's tons of people that do foster homes here. Can you guys just, when you get this message, and I was just going down a phone book, can you guys, when you get this message, just call the youth development program and let them know that, and just anyone that you know that might be able to take in a kid just for a summer, and then when I'm 16 I can emancipate myself. So a bunch of these random families around Brattleboro were like, did you get the call? And they're like, yeah, I got the call. He's obviously smart. I don't know if there's anything wrong with him. So they called the youth development program, and then the right person found it. The right person started to care for me. They picked up my story. They made an effort. They went and made a foster home from a teacher at a school, and then that guy took me in, and then I got him to take out all my other friends that were in the institution with me. And then I had my first girlfriend, and then I started gaming really heavily, and I had 6 girlfriends at once. I dated the prettiest girls in school. I made friend groups from lonely people, and I took them out on adventures with me to go to bowling alleys and eat, and they would have just been autistic losers sitting alone on the computer, but I got them buff and got them jobs, and now they're managers and they're leaders of the community with hot girlfriends and stuff like that. I grew an army with me as I went, and then I left, worked in the music industry, went to Old Orchard Beach, partied with famous people, lived with the CEO of $1 million company. Then I went to college and with the nephew of the guy that taught me all these skills on YouTube when I was young. His nephew was my roommate, and then I started to have spiritual experiences. When I went to the music industry school with the music industry, the satanic evil Illuminati MK Ultra. Here's my butterfly. Then I had the spiritual experiences. So then I've been forced to go down this road. Now I have to incorporate that there's a higher reality and there's more going on in life. It's not just be delusional and craft your own path and forge your own way. Now it's we are living in something a lot bigger and a lot more complex than we realize, and there's different facets to how that works. So then I've been on a lot of different journeys for that since 2018. And I've seen a lot, I've done a lot. I went to Miami Beach, and I stormed the beach with 100 50 autistic men during COVID when you weren't allowed to be outside, and we all gamed women and brought them back to the party, and the like 30 Miami police cops showed up to try to stop us, and everybody else tried to go inside, but I kept my girl at my side, and I stood there like, what the fuck are you gonna do? What are you really gonna do? Are you gonna touch us? And the guys are so mad. Then I started having sleep paralysis when I was awake. But it's never like I never let it hinder me. I just taken it like, okay, this is happening. How do I work that into everything that I know now? How do I find the common denominator, what's really happening? How do I make sure it's not demonic influence or mental illness or whatever? And continue to make songs and keep going. And sometimes it's hard where I'm so depressed I can't move. But then I make an amazing song because of that, because I was able to channel the pain. You feel me? So it's just a lot of stuff that I've been through. I've always been this version of myself. That's why I am the way I am. It's legal, which makes it toxic environment with a lot of bad consequences. There's probably a lot of comments I'm missing because I'm going slow. It's really cool that you respect and love your dad like that, bro. I feel the same way. I feel that. Appreciate that. I don't own a gun yet. It's coming. One day soon. Don't do LSD yet. But you're in a cult or something. Yeah, first off, fuck your pissy attitude, bro. I can already tell you're a piece of shit. Your dad's not proud of you. But I was in a cult once. I got kidnapped by a Pentecostal church. And I lived at a Pentecostal church. For a couple months, I just tried my best to make things better and to help everyone that I could and make a difference. But one of the pastors kept locking me in the van and trying to convince me I was gay and then hitting on me. But the people that I helped, I still have kind of a relationship with. They're one of my biggest supporters on YouTube. They donate to help keep me going. They actually have a business that they named it after me, KC. So I'm really grateful for that. I'm just trying to help people and make a difference. But I've seen Pentecostal churches where they speak in tongues. One time I went to a girl's house I was trying to hook up with, or actually I wasn't trying to hook up with her, I was trying to hook up with her friend, but I was staying at her house. And she did a voodoo ritual, and they did a whole voodoo ritual. And I got to see what that was like. There's a lot more to life that you realize when you live in the spirit, that when you live with the belief that you're a spiritual being having a human experience, life gets very crazy very quickly. And you get to have these really unique and crazy and legendary experiences. Go. Yeah. I mean, I started off just taking chances and being brave. Like like I was nervous at first to. No, I don't think I was ever really nervous, if I'm being honest. Because I was raised by two huge narcissists that were really funny and really creative, but they were also huge narcissists. So I never got anxious as a child. Even when my parents would fight, I never got scared. But that could also be the spiritual stuff about my life and my genetics and my ancestry and the meaning of my name and all that. Why I never got scared as a kid. I got scared once when I was really young because I was left alone with something that was scary and confusing. But after that, I didn't really get scared until I smoked weed for the first time. The first time I smoked weed, I discovered anxiety. But it's just more fun for me to take chances and go do things with anxiety. I recognize it as power because I'm overcoming something. Synchronicity, yeah. You meet the people that you need to meet at the right times, depending on, and always, the reality structures by your belief systems, and you restructure your belief systems by raising your vibration and then taking control of your narrative, exploring what's up there when you go deep in your mind. Like imagine you're in a dark room and turning a light on, and then look around and see what those things that you see are. Just kind of like be an explorer of your own mind and see what comes up. And then just stay focused and try to figure things out and then make little changes in your life. And then this world helps you with that world. This world teaches you skills that help you in that world. Like when you do push-ups in the morning, or you clean and organize your house, or you play Minecraft or something like that, or you go talk to the girl that you're scared to talk to, or you go get in a fight with somebody, or you go like drive to a new place and explore that, or you eat a different food and you shape the chicken a different way. That helps you up here when you're doing new things up there. And then the stuff I teach is just how to get out the bad to heal your biology to be able to do this better. And then I teach you quantum physics in a way that lets you take more control over your life, to restructure and control your emotions, to do different things, to be a conscious co-creator of reality. And that helps you be. What I get out of it is, one, for the most part, you'll have more opportunities in the future. I feel like I'm doing better for the world that way, because you have a family network. You have tons of people in your community. When people pick up this stuff, that's going to change all of them at once. Like dominoes, the eureka moment goes to all your relationships if you believe this stuff is real. And I'm going to tell you that every millionaire and billionaire that I've ever met believes this stuff. And I actually teach the billionaires and millionaires sometimes that travel through here, and they have something they need to know, and I have something that to share. Which is just, the first thing you'd have to do is just cut out sugar for a couple days and go outside more. And then the rest is just taking in the good stuff. So just to say it really quickly, fasting, sunlight, probiotics, clean you out, protein, omega-3s, multivitamins, bring the good in, rest, breathing exercises, daydreaming more, going out in nature. And that's pretty much it. Just do that consistently for a while and watch as everything else. And then saying no to what you don't want, yes to what you do want, having boundaries, learning to control the Higgs field, learning how to assert yourself to protect your peace and control your environment while you're taking in the good stuff, channeling your memories back into your mind to remember who you were when you were a child before the traumas, and then you can incorporate that with everything you've learned to grow into a better person. And then you can fight back against the matrix, and then you can influence your surroundings with love. I'm teaching you how to love better. I'm literally teaching you love in a nerdy way. I think it's all going to work out. I think that no matter what you're suffering and going through, it's going to work out. I think it's all going to be okay. I think that you should give yourself the love that you deserve. I think that if you're going through, I think that loneliness isn't as bad as you think it is. It sucks. But I needed to be alone to discover all this stuff. I didn't know how to love myself until I was alone with myself for years. I learned how to keep it positive through depression. Depression taught me how to maintain positivity, how to stay in control of my life. I'm telling you, hopefully you can see that even though I'm talking about stuff you think is crazy, I seem to have a good head on my shoulders. And I don't let it really affect me. I can still have normal conversations with people. So when I tell you that I've met gods of the forest, I've met fairies and aliens and pixies and lion people like the Lyrans, the Khajiits from Skyrim from elsewhere, the Lyrans, the Arcturians, the blue people with billions of eyes, these weird bug people, these like high things, and that I haven't been diagnosed with schizophrenia. No matter how many times they try, I end up just fixing the therapist's life. Swear to God, every time I sit down with the therapist learns something from me that changes their life forever. And then they come back years later and thank me for it. The only ones that have a bad opinion about me are the ones that were narcissistic to begin with, and they couldn't understand, like they wouldn't accept the things I was saying. Because their mission was already coming from a negative place. The therapists that I didn't have good interactions with, it had nothing to do with me and it had everything to do with them. They weren't ready to have this conversation. that I could naturally pick up their emotions, and I could tell they had an attitude, and that I was trying to get to the bottom of their attitude before we could even get to my problems. That therapist wasn't coming with humility and free association. Did you hear that? Did you guys hear that? Let me know if you heard it. So there are things in the forest. Remember how a couple weeks ago, we had a massive flood, and I was stuck outside. I had no way to get inside anywhere. All the homeless shelters were full. I had no tent. I had nowhere to go. Before I even knew that the flood was going to happen, I felt this weird alien thing, like this giant dense ball of energy, and it knocked a giant tree down right next to me. And then I found a tarp just on the street. So when the floods came, I had the tarp and I had this giant fallen tree that happened right next to where I was laying depressed. So I was able to put the tarp over the tree, and I was able to stay dry during the floods. So I felt that thing again, and then it just pelted a rock out of the woods, and it hit right next to me. Now, Burlington, Vermont is a weird place. It's where the high-level Satanist from the Illuminati ended up, because he tried to run away, and then he said God guided him to Burlington. And the way that he left, he tried to jump the border through Cornwall and go into Montreal to escape America. And then he got deported. He couldn't even make it. They wouldn't let him go, and then he got stuck at a rest stop, and then somebody that he says was a Jesus or an angel or something knocked on his car door and told him to go to Burlington. When I left home, the first place I went was that border, and I drove straight through the border, outdrove the police, and lived in Montreal for 2 months. Then I got deported with no charges. Then I got to go to New York, and I joined a gang, and I lived with pimps and shit, and I lived in Albany, and a bunch of shit happened. I was accepted by the hood, and I figured out that I learned how to be myself, because I realized everyone else where I came out of was playing pretend in a failing society. I learned how to keep it real, brother. So, you heard me? So, I've been talking a lot, so it's hard to hold on to the personality I become this. When I got deported, I stopped at that rest stop, and then the same presence told me to go to Burlington. As soon as I got to Burlington, flags on all the buildings said Casey, and then the last names of like the 5 girls that I had dated under Casey. And it said co-created, so C-O created, and a big circle around it. My initials are C-O. And then in that, I lived this amazing, beautiful story that I can't wait to share. It was epic, it was painful, it was hard, it was full of heartbreak and trauma, and a literal battle scene, like tons of battles where I had a hatchet and the other guys had hatchets, and there's a whole normal world going on of people going to work, but I was trapped in a war zone, like a medieval war zone with people that didn't have guns, that were all fighting each other at night. And I had to survive and get people out of that, and get people out of that back into society. I had to lift children out of that pit and get them jobs and keep their emotions going so they could continue working and be comfortable working like that. I fucked beautiful women as a homeless, smelly man. Shit like that. And I woke up to God and met all this crazy stuff. And I did YouTube videos during the whole thing. In my zodiac element, year of the water cat, when I'm born in the year of the fire cat. And then all the things that I created in my life before that. Before I had this spiritual awakening and trauma that felt like it ruined me and destroyed me. All the things that I thought that I lost, the different aspects of my personality, expressed themselves to the world through different Caseys. Kurt Kaz, the KCC, Kurt Kaz Conquest, the Kelly Creative Collective, the Kansas City Chiefs won the Super Bowl that year. Casey Rocket went on stage and was the best stand-up comedian in the world at the time. Kai Cenat, KC3, and he has the Irish chain, and I have the Native American chain, and I'm KC33. And he used to live on West 238th Bronx, where my grandfather used to have a restaurant. shit like that. And it was all in my Year of the Water Cat. So while I'm homeless and depressed, trying to make something that shares with the world, I got to see myself get shared with the world. And then I learned that to do that, they had to join like this satanic cult, and they're all doing this horrible things behind the scenes to be able to be in that position, to be allowed to do that. So I got to do everything I wanted to do without having to suffer the way that they were, being trapped. I was trapped in a different way. And then I learned about the golden spiral, how all the reason that happened is because the small affects the large. So my little story blew up across the world. And I didn't have to go across the world. I made it happen in my mind, and then it was blessed to other KCs that did that. And they're all KCC. And I'm the Kingdom of Creative Champions. The King of Content Creation. In school, they called me King of the Crazies. The staff member, like the teachers in the school, called me King of the Crazies because I had this huge army of autistic kids and weirdos that I would teach how to get girls, and they would walk with me everywhere. And I'd make them all skip school and get in trouble to go out to bowling alleys and shit. So that's me, man. Where am I at for charge? I'm at 16%. Is my thing even on the charger, bro? It better be. Is my mom proud of me? She'll never be proud of me. She's a narcissist. Yeah, I think my power block is on the charger. What time is it? It's 5:30. I gotta go to my spot. Before the losers get here. Before the white crazy people come. Try to ruin my life. If you found that entertaining and you have a rich grandma that's got some spare cash and needs some good karma, my Cash App's in the channel description, man. Everything that goes to it goes to putting me in a better position to do more. I'm writing TV shows and movies, I'm making albums, I'm designing merch, I'm making music videos. I have tons of big plans. Lots of things I want to do. If you still think I'm crazy, you can go fuck yourself, bitch. Maybe you're just stupid. Maybe you're just afraid. And my name means brave. I can feel your presence, mother. I'm a psychic, Mom. You gave birth to a psychic. You're probably a psychic too, bitch. Fuck you. Hey, Mom. The golden ring around my and my dad's eyes only goes to people with Rh negative blood. My dad's side is full of Rh negative blood too. We're aliens. Lose some fucking weight and go out in the woods. I literally got you a property where you could build an A-frame cabin for free. Fuckalatugan. I like to move it. I like to move it, Maurice. I like to move it, Maurice. I don't think anyone's gonna bother me today. But the bike shop is closed today. But that doesn't mean I can't wake up and call the post office. Oh, it's just I'm out of serotonin. How could I love a God that keeps making pedophiles? I don't want the world to hear that song yet. Yeah, I'm trying to get a computer for $550. So hopefully I can take this bike and I'll lowball the guy. say, I'll give you 300, take it or leave it. And if he leaves it, the bitch. The bitch. He's a bitch. Yeah, he's a bitch. I'm gonna... I hope nobody pulls up while I'm taking this piss. I got 5 left. Yeah. So when I talk, I expect to go back eventually, and then they will be... If anybody wants to... There's nobody here. Nobody's gonna watch this far. Susie and James have stopped showing up. What happened? The last thing we heard from Susie was that she started a YouTube channel. And then she disappeared off the face of the earth. And then I got a tarot reading that said, somebody's trying to plagiarize your content. And they're very nervous about it. Somebody's trying to steal your artistry to make songs. And then the guys that were rappers and the people that were trying to make YouTube channels have disappeared. But I've pumped out something into the universe. Who knows what's going to happen with it? There's a crow. The crows are awake. Look at my fucking bike, guys. Look at this. Look at how fucking nice this is. So, simple Google search is saying that this bike is worth around $850. I doubt it's worth $850 because the paint's kind of chipped and sometimes it stops when it shifts, like the chain freezes up. But $350 if I fix it all up perfectly and I clean it. How's the tires look? The tires aren't bad at all. The tires are pretty much brand new. So this might be a new bike. It looks nice. It looks sleek. It just needs to be cleaned a little bit. So I have to take some alcohol wipes or something, polish it up, and then I'll try to take it to a bike shop, man. And I'll see how much they'll give me for it. Then I can fix the better bike. But I don't know, that looks good for trail riding, and then the other bike looks good for getting kind of cross towns, like the 20-mile spans. The other bike's good for 20-mile spans, and that bike's good for trail riding. So it just depends on where I'm at. Isn't it cool how it's like the things that get provided to me put me at crossroads. It's never like, you feel me? It's never just something that's obvious. It's something that's challenging. Like, I have this amazing bike to do amazing things with, but I also understand that there's other things I could do for that. Like, I can't have 2 bikes and be traveling. I carried that bike on my shoulder, and I rode this bike carrying the other bike, and I almost fell like 6 times. And it's heavy as fuck. It's heavy as hell, bruh. So I hope I help people, man. There we go. I'm gonna have nice clothes. I'm excited for the future. Where the hell did I put the goddamn couch cushion? Where the hell did I put it? There it is. This couch cushion is very important because I'm gonna sit on it on my perch. And I know a lot of people are like, you spent a lot of money on cigarettes. If I hadn't just gone down this cigarette road, now I know all the different ways that I can use cigarettes to ground me. And now I know how to appreciate different types of tobacco. and the different things that they do to my emotional state. It taught me how to fight to open my throat. And now that I'm ready to get in the future, when I get a big bag of tobacco and roll them, I know how to do it the way that the Navajo use it. Because the Navajo are trained in the stuff that I'm talking about that most people would say would be schizophrenic. They were trained as a child. And actually they were encouraged to go back when they were young and more powerful with their youthful energy to go fight these bad entities. Like if there was a bad entity that was torturing the villages, they'd wait until and train the children, and then when they were 17, the children would go out and fight these things as a rite of passage. This is going to be tough. Okay. I heard I'm losing them. POV. You have to carry a bike and a couch cushion and an Arizona iced tea up a mountain. There's no way to do this. Oh, I dropped my Arizona, fam. I don't want to end the live, but how the fuck am I supposed to? We're on. Come on. Okay. If I hold it like this, and I hold the bike by the neck, by the scruff, and I put oh shit, I have a fucking compartment. I have a holder for my Arizona, and now we can go. We're in the Matrix. There we go. Everybody's waking up, going to work, getting their Starbucks, getting their Dunkin' Donuts, trying not to stare everybody down, just staring in a straight line as they go down the street, not looking around at all at how their windows are down. I know their windows are up. They're not even the fresh air. They're living in their little balls of comfort, consuming content. So there are no birds, but then I set the intention to call the birds, and the birds have started chirping a little bit. So when I walk into a space, I do like an activation where I send myself out to be like, are there any birds? And then I'll get like 5 or 6 or however many are in the area. And that's how I check to see, kind of like a vibe check, if you believe it or not. Yeah. Going until I get to the top. Here we are at the state capitol. And over there is Montpelier, Vermont. Here, I'll show you in a second. Maybe they took it. There was tons of tents and tons of bikes and shit for the homeless. They have stashes of all the shit that they get, because other homeless people bring them like 7 tents and 8 sleeping bags and bikes. They don't know what to do with it. Okay. What's that? Oh. The crows will not. The crows aren't going to bother me today. This is easy, but carrying this giant couch cushion and the phone is tough. I'm climbing a mountain with a couch cushion. All right. I'm climbing a mountain with a couch cushion. What have I become? My sweetest friend, everyone I love. Goes away in the end. Look at this photograph. If you know, really step through. So as I'm ascending, I'm realizing that there was like something in my back that was kind of a lot less real and masculine than I do in real life when I ran to the camera for hours. It's just because my chakras close and something else comes through sometimes. I'm learning about channeling. Like, I've always known I could see them and talk to them, but now I'm learning how to like talk with them and figure out what they are. My phone kept cutting out, but I'm crossing the threshold into the forest further off the trail. I slip right here all the time. Okay. I'm putting my bike next to my other bike. They've told me that the whiny white pussies will be, or they just naturally are looking for things to get mad about. So